Hey, welcome to another episode of the Evolved Dad Shorecast. Before we get started, if I could just ask you a quick favor, if you could leave me some comments on this episode, I'm curious what your thoughts are. Wherever you're listening, drop in some comments and I'll be sure to get back to you. Let's jump in. Today, I want to talk about how we face hard things in life and why that's so crucial as a dad to give over to our children. So think about hitting the snooze button one too many times or avoiding stepping out into the rain because it feels inconvenient to you. That's what I want to start at, where we're going to talk about how facing the small inconveniences in life can help prepare you and in turn your children for the harder things that come in life and why it's so crucial, especially for our kids, to understand how to approach these moments. Now, the reason that it's so important is because embracing discomfort is a skill to building resilience. And as a father taking the journey to become a dad, realizing that the lessons that we teach our children are the ones that they're going to carry with them throughout life. So if we were to create that handbook for them, what's that handbook going to look like? And how do we give them that handbook? We give them that handbook by living that, by leading by example. Because regardless, we're leading by example one way or another. The question is, which example are we going to be giving them? What are we going to be teaching them that when they're in those tough parts of life, when things are just not going their way, what are they going to be able to do at that point? What's going to be that built in without them having to go turn to books and courses and coaches? What can we give them to survive those moments and to thrive? Not just survive, but thrive. Let's jump in. So, starting with the concept of embracing discomfort. Life, as we both know, is full of challenges. But if you really think about it, it's those small acts of our resilience that build that mental toughness for us to build on to stand up to those harder times. For example, getting out of bed without hitting that snooze button. You're teaching discipline as well as commitment, two very important traits. Let's say you're walking out in the rain. It's drizzling a little bit. Okay, you get a little bit wet. Small discomforts are manageable. And what else does it help with? It helps make you more adaptable. When life throws a curveball and all of a sudden things are totally not how you expected it, and you have to change the way that you're proceeding, you want to be able to have that flexibility, to be able to go with it, not that discomfort of I can't change, I can't adapt. And especially for our children, we want to give our children that defined outline, that built in response to those difficult times. So, why do we have to model this? What's so important as a dad to embody this? For starters, as a dad, if you're not shying away from discomfort, your kids are going to be able to internalize that because our kids are always watching, especially when we think that they're not. And they're going to be able to internalize that, and that's going to turn into their courage. Similar to building a muscle, right? You're going to go work out. You're not going to see results on day one, but over time, you're going to be building stronger and stronger to the point that if you fail or you miss out a little bit here or there, it's not going to have the same effect. The same with our children. We want that to become that built-in muscle that responds when they get to those hard times in life. The idea is to not only embody these, but to teach our children, to explain to them why we're doing it. I'm not doing it because I'm being ignorant. I'm not doing it because I'm being stubborn. I'm doing these things because I want to build up my resilience to these little hard things so that when I get to the more difficult things, it's not going to be as difficult because I'm going to be used to putting myself into a position of discomfort, even though it's on a lower level. And it's going to build me up for those harder times. And the analogy of the muscle is really the easiest way to give this over to explain, saying, you build your muscles and you see how over time you're able to get stronger. You learn how to ride a bike. In the beginning, you don't know how to ride it so well, but over time, when you practice, now look how well you can ride your bike. Giving those analogies, but explaining to them, this is the reason that I'm doing it because I want to get there. It doesn't have to be because you're teaching them. That doesn't have to be the reason why you're telling them that, because that's not the core. The core is for you. In turn, that's going to help your children. But that shouldn't be the focus that you're doing it to teach. Taking those little moments when maybe it's a little bit cold outside to coach them, to encourage them, and to celebrate when they succeed over those difficult things. Maybe you have a child who has their own alarm clock and they find it difficult to get up in the morning. They're hitting the snooze button. Celebrate with them when they stop hitting that snooze button and reflect with them on how they handled it. Help them understand what they're doing, how they are building that muscle. But keep in mind, it's important to be gentle and firm, but not to be aggressive over it. And this is both for yourself, but more importantly for your child. Because when you frame these moments as opportunities, it gives a growth mindset. It gives you that focus of I'm growing. But when you punish yourself or punish your child from that, now obviously I'm taking it to extreme here, but if it becomes there, you get a negative connotation out of that, you're going to be going backwards down the slope of the mountain that you're trying to climb. But by reinforcing their small wins, that's how you're building confidence, both for yourself and for your child. So it's important that you take these moments as growth opportunities and not as a opportunity to beat yourself down or to do that for your child. The point is to have encouragement. At the same time, it's important to not make it that life is always about difficult times. Life isn't always uncomfortable, but the growth that we attain, the true growth, is by facing challenges. Talking through these ideas with your kids. It could be something where they're having a difficult time with taking tests, learning a subject, making new friends, or sports. Taking these concepts and helping them grow through them is really how they're going to get to that next step that you want them to get to. You're able to be there to embody this, to show them that this is what you're doing. Then you can start working with them, explaining to them and showing them, encouraging them how this is going to help them grow. And then start by bringing in life examples, what things that they're going through, how they acted and they were resilient and they stood up to that challenge and they accomplished it. Or maybe they had a setback and that's okay. But defining what is that setback, how in the future they can grow from that. Let's go back through these ideas briefly. One, you want to embrace the small discomforts in order to build resilience. Two, the dad, you're the one that's setting the tone by both modeling courage and being adaptable. And three, teaching your kids the lessons is going to equip them for life, for the bigger challenges. Let them see what those small challenges are and how they've grown now, and things that maybe that you could help them grow through. So I want to give you a challenge. Choose one hard thing today. Maybe it's skipping that snooze button, not hitting that snooze button. Maybe it's walking out to your car when it's drizzling, when in general you would bundle up. Or maybe it's walking out into the cold, and model it for your children. Show them that this is how it's done. Show them and explain to them why it's being done. And let's help build the next generation into an amazing, resilient generation. As always, I want to thank you for spending your time with me today. This is Jonathan, the Evolved Dad, signing off.